This is a podcast.
Do you like my Halloween decorations?
I
I got my It t-shirt
do.
on as well. So I'm like in this spooky mood. You've got a
In
Stranger
spooky mood.
Things t-shirt on.
I know.
So
I was like, is that Halloweeny?
it's enough. It is.
Are you a spooky bitch?
Bit odd, isn't it? It's never
You're a bit
gonna
odd,
make me
and
laugh.
yet, in it,
And yet,
in
bit
that.
odd, and yet. Before we fully start with the show, I do have to apologize or just state that yes, I do sound a bit funny. Yes, I am sick. Yes, I've been sick for a whole week. And then I got better, and now I'm starting to feel a little bit more sick. It is a whole mission. Please excuse any sniffs, coughs, and or general fluey ASMR that may be coming your way. But
Diarrhea.
maybe I sound sultry now. Maybe I'm kind of sick.
Sultry is, I suppose, sultry is in the, well, we're talking about sound, ear of the beholder. So maybe somebody's listening to this and they're like, Jared is sexy sounding today.
Am I on my Idris Elba era?
Give me those wet coughs in my ear.
God, I wish it was a wet cough. I got a dry cough. I can't think of anything worse than a dry cough. I sound like an old man.
In my ear. Like an Is he running a marathon? I'm feeling a little bit moist. It's quite hot.
It is so hot. I am sweating. I'm drinking tea to combat my sinuses, but now late afternoon sun is like coming straight into the office. And so I feel like I'm gonna be a puddle. But I got a witch's hat on. And I know it's made out of whatever this is. Chiffon?
But it's hot.
Chiffon? Yeah, my head feels hot.
When I wear my like mesh long sleeve shirt, I think I sweat in that more than I sweat in any other
this is
long
like
sleeve shirt.
These things are see-through. Like, I mean, hello. I can fully
see-through does not equal warm. See-through
breathable.
does not equal cool or breathable. That's like wrapping yourself in cling wrap. Just because it's see-through, it doesn't mean you're gonna.
Well, this clear.
Hello.
Okay, well, what not to do on Halloween is a cling wrap outfit, I guess. But what you can do for Halloween is listen to Dumpster Salad, because this is the best spooky Halloween podcast to listen to, where we're going to talk shit about movies, because we are a dumbly honest movie podcast.
This is like group therapy, but movies.
Especially on this episode of Dumpster Salad with me, your host, Jared.
And your other host, me, Carl.
And together, we're going to talk shit about Yo Mama.
AKA just Mama, the 2013 film experience. Not to be confused with Ma from when? Was it 2020, 2019, 2021? I can't
2019.
remember.
This Mama, the 2013 Mama, it was produced by Guillermo del Toro. And you know Guillermo del Toro, right?
Yeah.
Like, you think Guillermo del Toro, you're like, oh, I'm going to have a fun time. I love Guillermo del Toro. Oscar winner. And he gave us this.
I suggested this film.
You did again. I feel like you suggested all three films.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you suggest any other movie aside from Scream? I feel like I just picked three.
You gave us a list, and I did say, like, okay, we have to do Mama, because I remember watching Mama, and I remember thinking, what the fuck? When I mean, all the way back I watched it with my sister in 2014, and then
I think I also watched it around that time or shortly after it came out. I'm not gonna lie, I liked it when it came out.
I remember I remember it being weird and a bit questionable, but still enjoyable. And I don't know what's changed inside of me since then. It's a journey, obviously. 8 years later, why is the movie a complete opposite for me? But I do
You
want
called it
to
janky.
I do want to sort of segue off of that and just take a quick pause on Mama and quickly go to Grimcutty.
God.
Carl, what the fuck? How is that? How did Disney go, yeah, sure, we'll put this on Disney Plus?
Just like you said last night, it's not even it's not even so bad it's good. It's just bad.
It is so disconnected.
For me, it's the whole thing of like, we don't know what these devices are doing to you.
It felt like a movie that was made for a 2015 audience.
It felt like a student film. Like they
Yes.
had this like deep, meaningful message behind it.
It's not that deep.
But actually, I don't think it was very like a deep, meaningful message. But it felt like they had like an important message to share with us.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't.
It was you're right. It felt like they had an important message to send to us, but at the end, that message was actually just pointless.
It felt like a high school drama.
Yes.
Like you have to put together this really artsy, like meaningful message, and it's like smartphones. We're addicted to them. We're like.
But it's not even smartphones.
Look at the world.
We need a whole detox box with your laptop and the internet in general. It's making kids do these challenges. I hate the word challenges. When you describe anything that's on the internet as a challenge, immediately it becomes irrelevant because it's not a fucking challenge. We don't have challenges. That Momo thing, being like, oh yeah, this is based off the Momo challenge. That wasn't a fucking challenge. It's what is it? Creepypasta. This is creepypasta. This isn't a challenge.
Depends what you classify as a challenge. I'm not gonna lie, Momo creeps me out. I don't like the idea of the film is the creep. I mean, what do you call it? Grimcutty is kind of scary when you look at him from like at the start of the film.
Yes, when he's standing there. Creepy, terrifying.
That was scary.
And then he
eventually it begins to.
But as soon as he moved, like he was standing there, it was terrifying. And then he moved, and it was like, and I was like, oh my god, that is a doll. That's a doll. And his long arms.
I think I don't know about you, but by the end, I was just like, kill the dad. He's so fucking annoying.
God.
He seems mentally unstable.
Yeah. When it got to that mom and then her kid stabbing her in the leg again and she falls down the stairs and you're like, is she dead? Is she not dead? I don't know. And then it goes to the hospital. That's when I was like, okay, we're going into like the last act now. The dad's acting a bit crazy. He's confronting his child about all the things he's been Googling. I'm like, how? You're at a fucking, your child's in a coma and you're at a hospital. I'm going to go through his browser history.
Also, how can you not know that your child has a backup laptop?
Yeah, who bought it for them? Also
the ASMR.
Hated.
This film just cements the fact that I hate ASMR.
The whole ending being ASMR. The whole end. I didn't listen to it. I turned the movie off because I when we got to that hospital scene and like she's chasing with the dad, I started fast forwarding because I was like, I don't want to watch this whole confrontation. And then I got to the part where she's being choked by Grimcutty and I was like, this guy just, it looks like, I don't know, like Muppets gone wrong or something. It's just bad. And then I fast forwarded and then she was talking in ASMR and I fast forwarded a little bit more and she was still going in ASMR. and then I saw the little fast forward titles, and it was like her and her ASMR thing, and then credits. So I was like, fuck it, I'm turning the movie off. I can't listen to this ASMR.
Once I had started it, I was like, well, I have to finish it.
Oh no.
And so I did.
I'm impressed. For someone who usually watches movies in sittings, I'm very impressed.
I mean, I did watch it in sittings.
Oh, okay. Wow. You watched this in sittings? How could you possibly? I was doing a bunch of shit. I was like, I cannot sit in front of this and watch this any longer.
I had nothing better to do.
It makes you feel good about yourself because you think, if someone can make this into a movie and get this on Disney Plus, I can do something too.
I can do something too, yeah.
After that short intervention, hope you bought your snacks during the. Do you remember when movies used to have other interventions? Intermissions.
An intervention is something you have for someone with an addiction.
Just in the cinema, and all of a sudden someone busts out one of those foldable chairs and is like, okay, so we've gathered you all here today. Carl.
We want to discuss your...
We want to talk to you about something that's been impacting all of us. It's like halfway through Superman.
Superman?
That's the last movie I remember having an intermission was...
I do not remember ever having an intermission. In a film?
I went to go watch a movie. It was in Plet, I think, with my dad. We went to go watch Superman Returns, I think, was that. The one with Brendan, what's his face? And then there was an intermission. And I went to go buy Smarties and pee. Because it was almost a 3-hour movie, I think. And back then it was we can't sit through this. That, or my dad just took me to go pee and
said it was an intermission.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there was an intermission where they paused. Pretty sure. Anyways, Mama, so you watched this movie in 2014 and you enjoyed it. How do you feel about it now?
It is a lot less... It makes a lot less sense. Oh, you have a hole in your hat.
Yeah, I have
It makes a lot less sense now. I think maybe as a child, I felt... Well, not a child, a teenager. I don't think I've required the answers that I now feel the need to know. And you?
Hated it.
You called it janky.
It was... It reminds me, have you seen that meme of that lady who's like 7 foot something and she goes through the doorway like bending her back like this? It reminds me of that.
And she's a real person.
Yes.
You're comparing her to Mama?
Yes. It's what it reminds me of. It just makes me think of that meme. It's so funny because Mama's all gebrekkelijk and just like... And just... The noises, I'm so disturbed by this. But I think what I didn't like about it now is that I'm noticing all the creative choices that were made with the Twilight filter, and then it's really dark, and then there's that like where you get the answers of like what Mama is through the Jessica Chastain's dream that she has when it's in that cartoon. Really? Like, oh, sorry. When you're in Photoshop and you like cartoonize something, and it's like a filter, and it was disgusting. I feel like
there were no answers in that. There were no... Yes, they showed you like Mama's backstory, but really, what was the backstory?
Well, I mean,
aside from the fact that she jumped off a cliff and her baby didn't make it to the water with her.
Well, up until that point, you didn't know what Mama was. You were just like, oh, it's this like spooky woman ghost. And then you find out, oh, it's the ghost of a lady who lost her child. So now she's probably coming to get children. She wants to protect the children because she lost her child. I'm just like, okay, so there's a reason for this ghost to be here. So now I'm not I don't care anymore.
Well, they had a whole thing about not that funny.
I mean,
I
scary.
didn't think it was. I was like, I don't think it was meant to be. There was that whole thing wasn't it like at the start of the movie about like what a ghost is? It's like a memory bent out of shape, doomed to repeat itself, or some deep shit like that.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a lot of moments that were like, why?
meh.
Like,
Why
oh,
are
you're
we
trying.
being exposed to this?
Yeah.
My one thing, well, I have many things, but my first thing is, why did the dad spiral out like that? Why did he kill his wife? And that were they having an affair? Are we just meant to assume that his wife was having an affair because he killed the wife and some man that I feel like weren't they all in the same like business? And then he like speeds home and gets his children in the car, and then also the dad and the uncle were the same
Yes.
actor.
Twins.
which I also my question is why?
I don't know why.
Like there
Because you had that moment at the end where it was like, well, with the girls, where she like was touching his face and she was like, "Oh, it's my dad," and he was like, "No, I'm your dad's brother."
That was. I mean, did you really need twins?
Why pay two actors when you can just pay one?
One, I suppose. Yeah,
and then you get him to stand in a bridge and do this.
I honestly, I don't remember that. I do remember that part, but in my head, I don't think that it ever felt important to me. It's now I realize it really is not important because what the fuck?
It was just creepy that way, and then that's what leads him to go there. And I'm like, oh, so you couldn't find a better reason for him to be in this position?
Him there. I mean, why? Still, why? Why was he told to go there? There was no reason other than the fact that they obviously needed all the characters in one place.
Yes. The idea of this movie is solid. The acting is decently solid. It's just how everything combined. It's the threads in between it's the script writing and this. It just doesn't. It's like halfway baked.
I would also like to say that I'm 100% team Annabelle in this movie. The fact that her boyfriend,
Jessica Chastain's name was Annabelle.
The fact that she gets he falls down the stairs and then she gets left with these children. I'm sorry. That is really unfair because I feel like she feels pressure to stay there because she loves her boyfriend. But you could not pay me to look after feral children who I have no...
Honestly, the scariest thing about this movie is just having kids. Having those kids in the house is the scariest fucking thing. Children are wild monsters.
Like children who run on all fours.
And growling.
For me, I'm not a fan.
I know. That the youngest child, the little one, was it Victoria?
Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, 10 minutes into the movie, and I'm just like, can I throw that one off the cliff already?
Apparently, here comes a fact. I don't think she's English. And so that's why also the fact that she has so little dialogue. And she reminds me of this girl that, I know. I feel like, she reminds me of somebody from my childhood.
Okay.
Who was younger than me. And that's as far as I'll go.
And a bit feral.
The way she looks and just 100% her face and her hair.
Why was that child always dirty?
You know,
when they climb out the car and then the ones dirty. In shoes and then her feet are like still cut up and dirty. I'm just like, how What the
Also,
fuck?
what is with the cherries? Why cherries of all the fruits?
I have a
that...
review of this movie that has to do with the cherries. But I didn't pick that up on the first time. I was just like, oh, they lived off wild berries
Yeah,
and
I
nuts.
also didn't pick up the cherries. And then when they found the children, there was literally a mountain of cherry pits, like just towered up against the kitchen counter.
As if the point was when they find them on top of the kitchen, the fridge, terrifying. That was absolutely horrifying. But then
they
you
were
see
creepy.
the actual ghost, and you're like, she kind of looks like a Picasso painting that's been put through a shredder.
That's also another fact that I have for you about Mama. Also, did you know that she was played by a man?
Yeah, it's a creature actor. He's very famous. He did he did It, and he did a bunch of other stuff. I've forgotten which one.
The director of this film, he had something to do with It as well.
Didn't he direct?
He was
Director of
he
It.
directed
He's also the director of It.
So Mama is based off a painting that he has at his house, and then in It, I think it's like the little Jewish boy,
and then the painting.
He's haunted by that painting, and they look really similar.
Yes.
So it is a painting
connecting his works. If I was him, I would have dropped all ties with Mama. I'm just like, no,
I really do not like. I think even as like a well, she's a ghost, but she was once human. Even as a human, I feel a little bit rude to say.
Slander.
She's what?
Slander on the podcast. She was odd looking as a person too.
she was just really scary, even as a human.
Take this as you will, but when you saw her as a human, I just thought that looks like Chaim's aunt.
What?
She just looked like she was related to the Chaim sisters. I don't know why. But it was just like, yeah.
I don't know. She looked. I look at her and she looks foreign. I wouldn't say she's American. And I'm not American. People are going to be like, oh my God, you arrogant American. But I'm not even American. It's just the accent. But I'm just saying this takes place in America.
It takes place in America, but was completely filmed in Canada.
She didn't. She looked maybe like. Actually, I don't want to say.
I was going to say, which country do you want to offend?
I would say she looks
Estonian.
Maybe like Russian or.
That's a safe one too.
She looked European. It's like, is Russia in Europe? Is Russia actually a part of anywhere now? Well, yeah, but it has to be part of a continent, doesn't it? Oh no.
Asia. Russia's on Asia.
Oh my God. I feel like I knew that. So I don't know why I'm acting surprised. But it's still
Let's not talk about geography because I'm not the greatest either.
I'm overheating. She just looked scary as a person. And I'm like, was that a real lady? Is she an actress? Are we insulting someone? I'm sure she looks great outside of the movie. Maybe it's one of those American Horror Story situations.
What do you mean by that?
Where like there was that actress that played Pepper? Was it Pepper in American Horror Story?
Yes.
And she looks real weird in the show, but like outside of the show, she actually...
I feel like it's nothing to do with that. But let's just...
So you're saying she just looks weird?
You're making my chest malfunction.
Well, she was built for this shit. That's all I can say. You go. I feel like...
Something that not many people are going to notice, I don't know if you noticed, but I noticed it. In the beginning, when when like everyone's been shot and something, and then like the brothers arriving at the house.
Oh,
He's like, "That's my brother, and where's my brother and his girls and blah 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 blah." And his wife is like dead in the house.
wait, what?
In the beginning.
I think he shot them at the office.
No, it's at the house.
Did you see a dead body?
No.
Oh, okay.
But he
I
like
thought
took
I
the
missed
girls and he
something.
left the sausage dog, and then the police arrive at the house.
Yeah.
And then the brother arrives and the police kind of stop him. And that entire scene, it's snowing.
Yeah.
That is fake
Oh.
snow. That's CGI snow. It is so obviously CGI snow. It was driving me insane. I was like, look at that fucking snow filter. It's like they found something on YouTube on a green screen and then put it over the movie and then just keyed out the green screen.
I did not notice that.
It was so funny to me. I really enjoyed goth Jessica Chastain. I think.
Oh, Goth. I was like, who's Garth?
No, goth.
But, yes,
goth
Goth,
Jessica Chastain.
yeah.
I think she did a great job. She really did carry this movie. She deserved that single award that she won for this movie. I think
Did she win an award?
I think she won MTV Best Actress in a Horror Film or something like that. Favorite actress in a horror film.
She was really good, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm kind of not surprised.
It was painful. It was painful to watch her being like, oh yeah, against the system, full sleeve of tattoos. Like, I don't want to be your mother. I guess who's not pregnant? Oh yeah.
I feel like, was she like that?
Well, in the beginning, she's like peeing on the toilet. She's like taking a pregnancy test.
Yes, that I remember.
And she goes and she like eats cereal in that way of like, this is gonna be weird, sound weird, but bear with me here. There's a way that people portray characters in movies when they're eating cereal, and they're meant to be like
kind of
non-conformist. So that person is the alternative character. They don't go by the society. Yeah. And they're always
just by the way she eats cereal.
Just by the way they eat cereal. It's always that like they're just eating cereal and then like talking halfway through a mouthful and they're like eat cereal with their mouth open. And it bugs me. But it's something that I've noticed like with those types of characters.
So she met the rebel stereotype with the way she ate her cereal.
Yes. That's how I knew. I was like, okay, she's playing the rebel because look at the way she's eating her cereal, man. She even put it on her guy. And you knew he was an artist. You knew he was like an artist because he was wearing that fucking beanie that all film artists, hipsters wear.
He's struggling. It's like slightly He's a struggling
too long.
Artist.
Yeah, with cereal on his head.
Cereal on his head?
She put the bowl of cereal on his head.
Oh.
It was the weirdest interaction.
Also, I did not realize that he really did not make it that far into the movie before he was like sent to hospital. Yeah. I, in my head, remembered that as like the end-ish kind of. Like, it was a while. This also, I think actually, I've always been terrified of moths, but
I don't understand
the moths. I don't like them. Also, when Lily was eating them, what the fuck?
She was eating them?
She was eating the moths. I also read like a fact about that the moths were made of chocolate.
Oh.
But still, I was just like, oh my god, I don't remember that. I think they were in the hospital visiting their uncle, and there was a moth. Oh no! No, I can't remember where it was, but Lily was like munching them moths. And I just really didn't.
I just didn't understand the moth motif. Like, where did it come from? Why was it a thing?
I don't think that I understood it. I think maybe just because it's creepy. Moths aren't moths like a symbol of death, or something like that. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they were like, when we write this, what kind of bug can we include that?
We need something to make her creepier. She just looks fucked up.
let's do moths. Which I'm sure the moth community was in an uproar when this came out. Have you seen that
Moth
fucking
community.
movie? As in the moths, the community of moths. They have portrayed us as creepy bugs, which I think they are. But
the council for the injustice that has been done to moths.
the moths are striking outside of the cinemas in 2013.
See,
just
there you go. Pixar and Disney. If you need a new fucking original idea, instead of making Inside Out 2 and all these other fucking sequels, just give
Make a
us
thing about
an
moths?
animated movie about moths. I want the moth movie.
You just want it solely to be about moths?
And it can be about the fact that it can teach kids that no matter what you look like, everyone is special, even if you're like, you know, make it an allegory on like racial tension or something between butterflies and moths, you know? Something like that. Make it a learning lesson. Give us some nice content. Sorry, I just get really upset with all these animated movies making sequels. When we have pretty good ideas like Carl's Moth Society. Call it the Mothmen.
The Mothmen!
One thing that we didn't get explained to us with this movie is how Mama, like, just came with them to the house. Usually ghosts are like, why was she attached to that cabin? Was that her house?
Also,
and then
she
why
died? Did she not die when she hit the water? Which then leads me to, like, why was that cabin in the woods at all? Also,
Yeah, that's
I know it was a bit of a crusty looking cabin when
Cabernaki.
cabin when we found it, but I'm kind of a fan of that whole like mid-century. This flower is fucking annoying me. I'm kind of a fan of that whole like mid-century modern furnishing inside. It looks a bit creepy, broken down, but then again, I'm also like, why was that cabin there? How did you get to your home?
And then why was Mama in the cabin?
Why was she there?
Is that her house? This is, I think, what we sort of touched on in Scream. And I think this was because this is 2013. It's quite an old movie. But it was sort of the start of like the elevated horror genre that we have nowadays. And it was just really, it was a really bad attempt at that elevated horror where it's like, we're going to give you something scary, but we're also going to give you something really deep and emotional to think about, because the real trauma in life, well, the real horror in life is trauma. So they gave us like a mom losing her baby, and the trauma from that created this ghost, and then that's scary. So the real scary movie here is losing your child.
Oh.
And I'm just like, oh, fuck them kids. I think it is very much, we're not the target audience.
Yeah. Who is? I can't picture a mom liking this.
I don't even think my sister likes this movie. Let me text her real quick.
Then can we talk about that ending?
Jessica Chastain crawling on the floor for what felt like 20 minutes.
And also, when she held on to that, like, the string of the robe, those things come out. Those things... It's like a belt loop. It's like a belt loop. Your belt is not, like, stuck into your jeans.
Some of them are stitched in at the back.
That for me felt far-fetched.
It's not a very strong stitching. It's not gonna keep you from falling off a cliff. But I mean, by that time, I was just like, God, this woman just like, it was so funny because they would just keep going like, sleep, just sleep, Annabelle, sleep, and then they like walk off, and she goes, no, I'm not gonna sleep, and then it's like, no, sleep. Okay. Walk off. No, I'm not gonna. No, sleep, Annabelle, sleep. And I was just like, if this was a ghost, you just kill her.
is how do you explain this to the people that you know? Like, hey, didn't you say there were 2 little girls? Where's the
Yes.
other one? Oh, well, the ghost took her off a cliff and they turned into a bunch of moths.
And the aunt? Where did she go? What happened to her? How are you going to explain that? She was possessed by a demon and then died. It's going to look real sketch.
Poor lady. She just was barking up the wrong tree.
She was a bitch,
Just
though.
left the children when they touched her, and she kind of like folded in on herself. Yeah. Also, I would like to discuss how ridiculous the whole hair moving around on
the wig, the puddle of a wig, and she did it on the cliffside too. She just dropped and she crawled up towards Annabelle. Who was like, this is gonna be scary. This is gonna be like still quite serious. No, that was pure comedy.
No, honestly, because Mama did that to the aunt when she approached the aunt, and I would want to say like, why aren't you fucking running? But
Yeah.
I think if I were in that situation, I'd be like, huh? You would be
Is
so
that a wig?
confused.
Is that a small rodent in a wig? Is that a hamster in a lace front?
That you're so confused that you don't move and she gets you.
It's a rat in a weave.
Oh.
Oh.
I almost forgot about that, and I felt like that was quite an important point.
That was
up.
a big part of the movie that I just absolutely can myself. That is the only thing I like about Mama was that the wig just melting into a puddle of like
ground.
It's like it reminds me of Adam's Family, Cousin It, his children.
I didn't watch a lot of Adam's Family.
The ending of this movie took so fucking long. It was just ridiculous. I don't remember what the dad guy did. What did he do? He was passed out.
He was there, but I can't remember what he did.
And then what was the point? Did Mama? She went over the edge with the child, and they had that little moment inside the sack in the cocoon. And then what? What was it? What was the goal here?
So
what was Mama's goal? Was she gonna pass over into the afterlife with a child? What was the reason?
So.
Give me a reason.
So. Also, I feel like she should be happy with her baby's bones. Like, here's your baby.
Why did they have the baby's bones as well?
It was in evidence.
Why? Why did they have it?
I don't know.
It's a child's bones. Well, you're supposed to get rid of that shit.
Well, anyways, she was not brought to peace by her own child. She felt the need to take somebody else's child, which I don't understand.
No.
But, who am I to judge the motivations of a
Picasso
dead
painting?
woman?
I think I've pretty much exhausted my feelings on Mama.
Opinion.
The wig on the floor was my high point, and now I feel like from there we got nothing that we can really redeem. Oh wait, my sister has replied. She said it was fucked up.
Well, that it was. That doesn't really give us our answer, though.
No.
What does that entail? But she speaks facts.
In the overall ending of this movie, you think it's a bad movie?
Yeah. Jessica Chastain was great.
Mm-hmm.
The girls did really good at acting.
See, the acting was quite solid. Nicolaj, what's-his-face, gave us a good performance. Jessica Chastain gave us a great performance. Bear in mind, she had that fucking wig on her head. The children did really well. The aunt was insufferable. And the creature acting was... I don't really know. It was a solidly acted movie, but very forgettable, very average. Would not recommend, would not rewatch.
I wouldn't recommend it either. It's not like you're gonna get any enjoyment out of it.
No. So should we move on to the reviews section?
Indeed.
I went and scoured Letterboxd for my reviews. Carl, did you go to Google?
Indeed, I did.
The unhinged
My favorite.
Googles.
Here we go. This has no star rating. It goes, a scary movie of a haunting mama visiting her 2 children. The ghost hides in the closet and unites with her children in the dead of nights. Somehow, the name Annabelle always invokes fear in the movies, but this Annabelle aunt plays a helpful role to the haunted children. I wish the ghost mama's growl can be more pleasing to the ears. In the end, the ghost claims one of her kids. This could have been different in my opinion. Movie is photographically well shot and makes you tremble in fear and excitement. It is worth seeing.
What a weird
It just
review.
felt a little bit all over the place.
Photographically pleasing.
Also, the name Annabelle is usually creepy, but this one,
Just
she
so
was
you know.
okay.
I have a 1.5 star review by Jeannie. Seriously,
Oh,
sometimes
Jeannie.
I don't think I could cope with being a cinephile if it weren't for hot guys being in films shit like this. So exhausting to watch, but thank you for being here, Nicolaj.
That's the dad, right? And the
Yes.
uncle.
Yes, the guy
He
from
is
Game of
really good
Thrones.
looking. He's from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Yeah. My second review also it has no star rating. The story was terribly formed. It's just ridiculous for me. Made no sense. The child the ghost took away with herself was not even hers. She legit killed her. And for what? For her unsatisfied desire? So where the hell was love? People saying, it's about Mama's love. I don't understand them. She was just mad. Who kills somebody else's child because she lost her own? What the hell? Where is it justified? And if you have to talk about love, talk about their uncle's love, or Annabelle's. Oh gosh, she sacrificed so much for them. And what does she get in the end? One of her 2 children are just taken away by some random freaking ghost? Gosh, I think either it's a terrible film or I just didn't get it.
They made some points.
She was mad. She was mad.
This is a 2-star review from Cherry. How did they survive off cherries when they don't grow year-round? How does a ghost aid in cherry farming? Why couldn't they just forage fruits and mushrooms and such?
You don't know where she's getting her cherries from. We don't know where she's able.
There is
She has
seasonal
an army of
fruit.
moths. Maybe she sent her moths to like LA.
They're ghost cherries.
I have another review with no ratings. I don't think any of my reviews have ratings. But this lady says, I'm just watching this movie. I don't know story, but I'm scared so much right now. But Conjuring is the best.
I don't know the story. I'm just watching it. Like, why?
I'm watching this movie. It's really scary, but Conjuring is better. So if you...
These kids are
I don't
fucking
know.
terrifying. But I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I just love people who write reviews before they're actually done watching the movie.
She's sitting there on the couch being like, I'm watching this movie. I don't know what it's about, but I'm going to review it before I even know what it's about. I wonder if she was like mad at the end. She was like, ah, fuck. That sucked. I shouldn't have
What
given
the
it
fuck did I just watch?
I have another 2-star review. This is by Film Ape. Yo Mama is a below standard horror movie that features all the cliches in the book, and I do mean all. Yo Mama features scary children, long stringy hair, contortion, moths, etc. Yo Mama then has an ending that feels extremely out of place and inconsistent when compared with the rest of the film. Yo Mama's ending is so Guillermo del Toro that one can imagine Del Toro pleasuring himself and eating Cheetos while he reads the script. Yo Mama does feature a decent performance by Jessica Chastain though, so at least there's that.
Yo Mama. Pleasuring himself whilst eating Cheetos, that's a disturbing image. My last review.
Yes.
And no stars. One of the scariest PG-13 movies around. At least I'm not a scaredy wolf. I've never heard of
What
a
is a
scaredy
scaredy wolf? How
At
is
least I'm not a scaredy wolf.
it?
Also, I didn't know that this movie was PG-13. Not
Is
that
it?
I thought it was
I
anything
couldn't.
worse.
Barely anyone died.
Oh, yeah.
No one died in Grimcutty either. That was a point I wanted to fucking pull up. No one died.
We want to see death. Also, I would just like to discuss at the beginning of the film where they set up that whole ASMR thing, they like pan across her desk, and obviously they're not allowed to show the brand of the microphone, and so they just blatantly stick black gaffer tape over the logo.
Oh, I didn't notice.
We do that when we like on our extras if their shoes have like branding. If
But
it's a
they're
black
extras.
shoe, you can stick black tape over it. But exactly, they're extras. I'm like, why wouldn't you turn it around or just not have it there? Ridiculous. That's where I knew. I was like, oh god, here we go. This is the type of film we're about to watch. And that was the start.
What would you rate this movie and review it?
I would give it a 2, and I would say come for the floor wigs and stay for Jessica Chastain.
I would give it a 1 star, and I would say that wig was the only redeemable part about the movie, and I'm not talking about Jessica Chastain's wig.
That was some like
Beautiful.
Jason X android hair.
Yes, that was Yo Mama.
Yeah,
Yo Mama so
that
bad.
was Yo Mama.
Thank you for going down this trip with the movie. Thank you for picking this movie. It was actually kind of fun to do. Fun to tear apart, not fun to watch. What do you have to... Yeah, what do you have to recommend for everyone this week?
I want to recommend... It's going to be... so I want to start with like a vaguely Halloween-y recommendation. It's a song called I Haunt Your Dreams by Hey Nothing. It's not creepy at all. Like, it's not a scary song, but the title is... The title's
scary enough.
And then a good old trusty Kaylee Morgue song.
Yeah, I was waiting. I'm like, Kaylee. I was thinking about her.
Good Day to Be My Dealer. I recommend.
I dig it.
It's such a good song.
It is.
And then I recommend The Last of Us Part 1 remake.
Okay. They've got The Office.
Part 1 remake. I know. I went and visited it.
Are you playing already? Oh, right. You bought it. Nice.
Yeah. And what are your recommendations?
This week I have a book to recommend, and that is Christine by Stephen King. I quite like this book. I really liked it. I really liked the book. And then I recommend a song called Monster Truck by Jasmine Bean. It is a heavy song.
Jasmine. Oh, I feel like she is quite a heavy artist.
Screamy artist, but good vibes.
That's it. That's a wrap.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Oh my god. We will see you next week with some more scary movies, and one where we will actually be watching something where people fucking die and we actually enjoy the movie.
Well, now we've already just... Spoiler alert, we enjoy the film.
Well, I mean, I haven't rewatched it yet, so that is still to be decided. But my memories of it are fond, so I hope they stay fond. And we will have a special guest.
Okay. Oh, is Shanda coming?
I'm going to make her come. Oh, fuck! She will be in attendance.
That was awful.
No incest on the podcast, please. Okay.
Oh, God.
Why a podcast? That sounds so stupid. Why this is a podcast? No shit, this is a podcast.